chapter, and it's called Right Side of the Boat. And it's a story of Jesus telling the homies, the disciples, hey, try this side. As small as it is, the change is, right?
Yeah.
It's huge. But can you talk to me about that?
Well, just for the listeners to kind of break down the story a bit, but this is time frame and context. This is after Jesus died already. Mm-hmm. So Jesus had died. The disciples, Peter and the crew, the fisherman crew, they haven't seen Jesus since his death. So in their understanding, he's still dead.
Yes.
Right. So that's like the context of the situation. And so they have been fishermen. They're professional fishermen. They know the waters. They know their boat. They know the equipment. They're like you put me on a construction site, man. I know that's my world. That's my tribe. That's my arena. Like I'm a professional. I am literally a professional when it comes to building homes. Mm. That's what they are. They're professional in their field. And they're going out fishing. And guess what? They're not catching fish, which is kind of, it happens, but odd for somebody who's professional in that trade and does it for a living to just not catch any fish. Mm-hmm. So that can already put a weight. But the fact that the moment that they're going out, I don't think they've been fishing like that for probably 3 years, because they've been walking with Jesus. But now that Jesus died, guess what they're doing? They're going back to their old ways because they don't know what else to do right now. So they're going back out to do what they got to do with this, get some fish, and just going back into survival mode. You know what I mean? But guess what? There's no fish. And they're getting ready to wrap up for the day. And this is a similar story when Peter first met Jesus. When Peter first met Jesus, it was almost a similar story.
Yes.
So here they are, same story, getting ready to wash their nets, and then Jesus kind of yells out close enough. He's on shore. And from their perspective, this is like some random guy. Hey, just throw it on the other side. You know how offended I would have been? Like, okay, not like go to, these waters at this beach, hey, actually, there's some fish over on the other side of the mountain right over there. It's more like, yo, right where your boat is, where you've been stressing all day, checking for fish. You guys are tired. You're dead. You're already washing your nets. You're putting things away. But guess, just right there, but on the other side of the boat. I'd have been like, fool,
get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here, man. But the voice they recognized. Wait a minute, what voice is that? I've been around that voice for 3 years. I recognize that accent. I recognize that voice. And that's when diligence meets obedience.
Come on.
So you could be diligent, but not be obedient. So obedience is when God speaks and gives you what you need to do. I could have all the greatest tools, Ray. I could have your best. To me, my favorite job site table saw is a DeWalt. Like, I love the DeWalt table saw, the chop saw. You can have all the best. I'm a Milwaukee guy though when it comes to the battery tools. So I got all my tools and all these things. Festool vacuum, Festool chop saw on site. I can look like the man. But guess what, man? I've had guys bring all this stuff, set everything up, and we ain't got no power. Battery's dead. Whatever reason, the power goes out, you're done, man. Doesn't matter how decorated your tools are, right? So I think diligence meets obedience is when you take one of your construction tools and plug it into the power, man. And then that's when it's game on. So that's what happened, man. They heard the voice of the Lord. They recognized the voice from having a relationship with him, and they were obedient. They did all they knew they can do. But why this is very important, because you're out there and you're like, man, Richie said, just do all I need to do and victory's mine. True. Do all you need to do. But guess what? There are times you'll be on the boat just like Peter and those fishermen. You did everything you know to do. You followed your old list. And guess what? You sitting there with nothing. So yeah, Richie's wrong. Do all you need to do. But victories of the Lord when you plug into the power. So when diligence meets obedience, that's the key. That's when the key, right, is your diligence, grabbing the tools and resources you know, and obedience is where to put and what door to put it in. It unlocks and opens the door. So with that story, man, they put it on the other side, and it says the fish, there were so many, the abundance was so high, they couldn't even handle the amount of fish. But the net never broke. So whatever they could fit in the net, fully maxed out of abundance and blessings, man. It didn't even break the net. So it was such a significant like blessing. Like it's like I knew how much blessing you can handle before your net burst. So I think there's like two sides of the fence. There's one where there's so much stress, weight, life, bills not paid, business shutting down. There's so much like on the negative side, weight, that God will say, I won't give you more than you can handle. To give you faith and assurance that I'm going to put you through the fire. I'm going to apply pressure in your life to strengthen you and to bring you back up, but I'm not more than you can handle. But then the other side of the fence, I think it's the same thing with abundance. Like he's going to give you, bless you, but not to detour you into like material world or to you just start going into addiction or lust or different things because there's just too much abundance, and so I think there's both sides that God can allow storms to strengthen you and also abundance to strengthen you, but not give you more than you can handle. And that's what that scripture and that story specifically speaks to me, is like there was so much fish, but just enough for the net that they can bring back to shore.
How do you protect yourself from knowing if it's an abundance or not? Or it's a test. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think for me, the going into Peter's reaction when that happened, I think his posture and his heart, he didn't even, like when they caught the fish, he didn't even I don't even think he realized what was happening. He just responded to hearing the voice. And so he jumped off the boat and swam to Jesus and just kind of like left his team to grab the fish. And so I think his posture in his heart was number one. Is when me and Tiffany were in a season where things felt like that season where the abundance was happening. We were winning awards. We were, being recognized nationally. We were getting any job we wanted. I mean, it was just like the net just was like, we're grabbing everything. I mean, everything you could think of was happening that you would want in a successful, residential construction business. But for me, man, I think me and Tiffany know that I don't know if I have the key to recognizing when it's abundance test or a blessing. Yeah. But I believe our heart position can help give us the lens and filter to see that, because I believe God gives to a cheerful giver. So what that means to me is if you have a cup and he's going to pour blessings into, it has to be able to overflow into somebody else. And so if you're trying to just contain it, I believe that for me is like it's the heart check. Like, okay, what am I doing with this? Like, am I worshiping it? Number one. Am I chasing it? Number two. Am I hoarding it? So I think those three would be like a personal gauge for me to see, or am I grateful? Am I giving? And I don't have another G. Am I grateful? Am I giving? And I don't have another G.
But that's good. You answered the question on the dot, Richie, which is, being grateful. Like what Peter said. I think coming back to just any blessing, and I think you talk about it here briefly. It's like, always being grateful for the abundance or whatever blessing that comes in. You mentioned that Peter was more focused on the blesser and not the gift, or the giver and not the gift. And there's a portion here as well where it's taking a step back. When Jesus called out to Peter and them not knowing. As when someone you don't know, but I guess to him it was he recognized the voice. But for someone to take advice from some random person, and for your pride not to get hurt or whatnot, that must be tough. How do you trust that voice, or do you just be like, hey, let's just change it up and listen to this random guy?
Well, yeah, I mean, it could, and I think I put in the book in that kind of picture where it was like, hey, there's this random guy telling you to just throw it on the other side. But I believe also that when you carry a relationship with the builder of all things, that when he does speak, you recognize who it's coming from. You know what I mean? You'll have that filter of understanding that tone, that authority, that, all the things that you've they've walked with him for 3 years. So they had this relationship to know like, oh, wait, I know that voice.
Yeah.
Like this is familiar grounds. Like, and so I think their faith played, but also I think their relationship played a role too, of being able to, discern that, it could have been some random guy like setting them up to do something that hey, you need to go on this side and over there. Actually, they could have died, but I think there are just things in relationship that they had that just kind of helped them understand like where that call was coming from and where that message was coming from.